Max Headroom. Ever heard of him?
Nope.
Maybe you've heard of the Max Headroom incident.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
You haven't?
Nope.
You've never heard of the Max Headroom incident?
Nope.
You don't even know who Max Headroom is?
Nope.
What the f***? Well, don't worry. That is why your daily, your weekly super villain is here to help you. I'm not a hero. I have done more evil for this world than good. The Max Headroom incident was a TV hijacking done in 1987 in Chicago on channels WGN and WTTW. So both channels were hijacked, but at two different times in the day. The first channel, being WGN, was hacked at 9:14 p.m. and the second, being on WTTW, occurred 2 hours later at 11:20 p.m. But before we can continue, you're probably wondering, who the hell is Max Headroom and why did he hack a TV channel? Well, to give you a quick rundown on who Max is, Max Headroom, full name Maximum Headroom 2.3 meters. Yes, that is literally his actual name, not me making a joke. He was named after a clearance sign for trucks. Was a computer-generated TV presenter that first aired in April of 1985 and last aired in May of 1988.
Hi. This is the Max Headroom Show, and I'm sorry, I've lost it. All right, just roll a video, will you, please? Now!
Now! I don't care, just...
Jesus.
Well, thank you.
Though he may look and sound computer generated, and even though the whole thing about it is that it was a computer generated TV show, he's actually not.
No.
But is instead portrayed by actor Matt Frewer. Every time I say that, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Frewer. Yeah, it's like I'm having a stroke every time I try and say it. I actually just watched some Max Headroom so I can know what the show is like, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty entertaining and funny. Now, I've known who Max Headroom was, but I never watched it. I think the first time I remember seeing him or seeing his likeness was in the Eminem Rap God music video. Now, Max Headroom was everywhere in the 80s, from being the spokesperson for New Coke to having a 2-season-long TV show, a short movie, and a Christmas special. To be honest, 2 seasons, I mean, that's really not that long compared to some other shows, but nonetheless, still very popular. But not only that, he was also so popular that there was even a Max Headroom reference in Back to the Future 2, one of my favorite movies. And that's actually something I didn't know until doing research for this video, which is pretty cool because I've seen that only a million times. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about who Max Headroom was and what it was all about, as this video is about the Max Headroom incident, not the character. But if you do want to learn more about the character, I will link some videos that are very informative in the description if you do want to learn more. Alright, now that you're all caught up on who Max Headroom is, it's time to get back into the creepy shit. At 9:14 p.m. during WGN's sports segment on the Chicago Bears, the screen goes black. Then cuts to a man in a suit and a Max Headroom mask, and what looks to be a rotating shed roof behind him. Now, this would be the first of 2 hijackings, this being the shortest one, lasting only around 30 seconds long.
Which hadn't put up a sack in 12 quarters, finally did. Well, if you're wondering what's happened, so am I.
So this second hijacking is much more strange. It also goes on for much longer, lasting around 90 seconds. So like I said, this one happened 2 hours later at 11:20. It's the same man, same background and everything, but this time a lot more is said. But I do want to say this before I play it. I'm not sure if I need a blur part of it, as I don't know how sensitive YouTube is nowadays. But there is a part where this man gets spanked, bare ass, with a fly swatter. So just gonna watch out for that. Sorry, I feel like I've just spoiled the best part for anyone that hasn't seen this.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
Some dry
just made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds. My brother is wearing the other one. But it's naughty. It's got footprints on it. They're coming to get me.
So as you see, this second one is so much worse than the first one. This one honestly sounds kind of like a threat. It sounds like this man is trying to threaten people. But since this one is much more chaotic, I just want to go over some of the things that happen in this one. So it starts off with him instantly swinging with the insults and calls someone a nerd. And then he just continues beating people down with the insults, because right after that, he calls out Big Chuck Swirsky. You know, Mr. Chuck Swirsky. We all know Chuck Swirsky. I don't. I do now. But he just comes out beating the shit out of Chuck Swirsky because he calls him a liberal. But not just any liberal, but a frickin' liberal.
Chuck Swirsky,
Crazy insult, dude. Fucking crazy. And after that, he holds up a can of Pepsi and says, "Catch the wave," which is referencing the Max Headroom Coke commercials. And Pepsi is not Coke. Just want to point that out. You can then see what looks like to be a dildo on his middle finger, as Wikipedia describes it. I mean, either that or he's a distant relative of E.T.'s, but either way, there is something on that finger. You can then hear him humming the theme song from an animated show from the 50s called Clutch Cargo. And you could hear him say, "I still see the X," which I think is a reference from an episode of that show, but I'm not 100% sure. He was then complaining about his piles, you know, because we all complain about our piles, and said he made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds.
I just made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds.
And the channel that was being hacked was WGN, which stood for World's Greatest Newspaper. Then he mentioned he only had one dirty glove and his brother had the other one, blah, blah, blah. And then it cuts to one of the greatest pieces of cinematography that has ever graced this beautiful planet that we call Earth. It cuts to him getting spanked. And as I said earlier, bare ass with a fly swatter. Mwah, mwah. It's just a fucking chef's kiss. I mean, it's awesome. Awesome. Now, you're probably wondering how something like this could even happen, especially in the 80s when to do something like this required knowledge, equipment that wasn't really available to anyone publicly, and you would also need a suitable place for the signal to even be picked up, which is why there is a huge theory that this was an inside job done by an ex-WGN employee. But how and why? I can only answer one of those questions right now, and it's that I do not know. Why, that is. The guy has never been caught, no one knows who he is or what the motive was behind this, so I got zero clue as to why, but I can tell you how this may have been done. The hijacking was achieved by sending a more powerful microwave transmission to said station's broadcast towers, which then triggered a capture effect. And what I meant when I said something like this requires knowledge and special equipment to do, I meant that, because even experts have said in order to pull something like this off required extensive technical expertise and a significant amount of transmitting power.
Now, this is not just anybody off the street. He has to have an electronic expertise of some level, right?
Yes, he does. It takes very sophisticated equipment to do this at a significant power level. So this isn't something that just anyone would be able to accomplish.
The FCC says the pirates were able to use stronger microwave signals to override the television signals which are transmitted from the Hancock and Sears towers.
But no need to worry, because no one is going to hack your TV while you're watching your Modern Family on ABC, because to do something like this nowadays is almost impossible, since American TVs switched from analog to digital signals back in 2009, meaning it's almost impossible to recreate this today. But who even did this? The person, or people I should say, since there were at least 3 people there, have never been caught or even identified. Would I like to know who did it? Yes. Do I care that much to? No. Because I feel like if these people were caught, I don't think this case would have as many fans and people being interested and intrigued by it. But the FCC put out a fine for if they were caught for $100,000 and up to 1 year in prison. Which I feel like the 1 year in prison, I feel like it should be at least 5. I don't know, that's just me. But the 5-year statute of limitations was passed in 1992, so even if these people did come out today and take responsibility for this, they would face literally no criminal charges, which is crazy. You know, I hope they show themselves. I would like to know who is behind the Max Headroom mask. All right, well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Hope you did something. I hope you did something. Did you do something today? Make sure to like and subscribe, you know, do all that YouTube stuff, please. And yeah, toodaloo. Bruh. Hello, it is me, Tubb. If you made it to this part of the video, I'm using my hands a lot. It is me, Tubb. If you made it to this part of the video, thank you so much. I just want to do a quick PSA saying videos from here on out, I'm going to be using a face cam. If I'm a bit awkward, this is my first time ever using like a face cam while making these types of videos. So, but anyway, I'm super excited to start doing this. So hopefully you watch. If anyone's watching, is anyone out there? Hello? Yeah, so I just wanted to say that real quick, and bye again.